Welcome to Minishift, the smaller version of the main podcast episodes, where we discuss basically whatever we want to in slightly less detail than usual, but hopefully still interesting. I'm Chris.
And I'm Ev.
I remembered to introduce our names this time. I'm
Yay.
steadily getting better. So this episode, as you'll probably already know because, people can read the title, we are doing The Lion King. We're taking a slightly different approach, considering one of us has seen this movie, and the other one has not, but has seen the 1994 Lion King, which essentially means they have seen this movie. Yep.
Okay.
True. Yep. So what are your thoughts on the original Lion King, Evan?
I thought it was a great adaptation of Hamlet.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's, I don't know, I'm sort of wearing it through classic nostalgia glasses.
It is very difficult to look back at a film like that, especially for people of our age. The Lion King is so intrinsically tied to just so much nostalgia and just that one of those movies that you watched over and over as a kid. I was exactly the same. So it is targeted for kids, so it's best to watch it through the eyes of a kid. And as a kid, everything is great. Yes,
basically.
That's true. You don't realize things can be bad until you hit, 10 or 11, I think was the first time I remember being disappointed by something.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to that, I didn't care. Everything was awesome.
Right.
So
it's pretty lights, flashing colors. Mm-hmm. But yeah, even looking back earlier in the teenage years, it still holds up.
It is still a remarkable film.
Yes. Especially love Nathan Lane as Timon. That is always a favourite of mine.
He's great. What's his name? Jeremy Irons is Scar. He's just an amazing voice. And all of the songs are obviously super iconic. Mm-hmm. The animation is gorgeous. It's really emotional. Like it hits all of the beats you would hope for like a classic Disney movie in so many respects. I mean, there's a reason that The Lion King is largely considered one of the best movies that Disney has ever made. So, which leads us into the fact that almost 20 years on, we've been rebooted in something that is not technically of live action, but they're basically trying to sell as a live action Lion King, where CGI has gotten to the point that it's so good that they're basically trying to make it photorealistic.
So this is the one starring James Corden, Jennifer Hudson. Who else was in there? I've already forgotten who else is in this.
In the new one?
In this new one.
Oh, like Donald Glover, Beyonce, John Oliver.
No, that doesn't sound right.
What?
No, we're talking about the same one. I saw a trailer in preparation for this podcast. It's got all the dancing animals around London,
Jesus,
I think.
You're doing a bit. God damn it. No, we're not talking about cats. Not yet. I know it's related to this film in many deeply disturbing ways, and we will 100% talk about it when it comes out. But no, we're talking about the other creepy live-action cat hybrid things.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I know obviously you haven't seen this film.
No.
I would honestly recommend that you don't.
Okay.
In all honesty, I don't think this movie is good, honestly, at all. I think it fails on a pure conceptual level in that this story never should have been made in live-action CGI. Like, it completely goes against so much of the ethos of what made the original film great. Like, the fluid animation and the songs and the expression and the emotion, all of that is lost in this new one. On a fundamental level, I do not understand what making it live action contributes to the original story, because it takes away so much. You could look at a picture of Simba's face when he's mourning for his father, and when he's singing about Can't Wait to Be King, it's exactly the same. These creatures don't express emotion, and it just makes everything so incredibly flat. It makes the songs so ridiculously dull, especially compared to how vibrant they were in the original film, and it's not good. It takes away so much of the energy and the imagination in the interest of the original film, and it's so similar that it doesn't add anything more to it. Like, if anything, really the only thing I could say is that it makes the film, in some respects, feel a little bit more visceral, obviously because it's real, it looks real, so like stuff like the wildebeest chase and the fight at the end and such feels more violent and aggressive, but I don't even think that's a good thing for this type of film. So even though it does improve on that in the original, I don't think it's a necessary or helpful improvement, which ultimately just means that this is a pointless and frustrating remake in every single sense of the term, and I don't like this movie, Evan. I don't like it at all.
I remember watching the trailer on top of what you're saying about it not adding anything. They brought in James L. Jones again, which is, I mean, a great choice. He's synonymous with Mufasa.
You couldn't recast him.
No,
Yeah,
but at the same time, what does that actually change?
You could.
There's no real... You could have, used the same recorded lines back from 1994 or 6 or whenever it was.
1994.
Yes.
Yeah.
94. Bring them back in and no one would be the wiser.
Exactly. Like, there's literally no conceivable reason that you couldn't just use that original dialogue.
Although, I do have to admit, while James Earl Jones as the voice actor is very much the same, I did prefer the performance of the lion in Narnia as Aslan than I did in his performance of this Lion King, from what I've seen.
Wait. No, James Earl Jones doesn't voice Aslan?
No, I mean the actual body double.
Oh, sure.
The lion himself.
Yes, yeah. That everything was molded off. Yeah, no, of course. There was, according to Jon Favreau, there was only one real shot in this entire film, which is the very first scene when you see the sun start to come up over the savannah, and it obviously goes into the circle of life. Everything after that is CGI, which, I mean, on one level is like, it's technically impressive. Like, it's amazing that it looks so real, so incredibly visually real, to the point there is no uncanny valley or anything like that. This looks like a real place with real animals and such. But I mean, that's only impressive on the level of a tech demo. That doesn't add anything to the story and such. So I think on like a pure, if you want to purely look at it as basically, this is proof that we can make entirely CGI photorealistic films. Sure, if you want to spend $300 million on them. But outside of that, I just don't think. I keep going back to the fact that this doesn't need to be done this way. I mean, I would have even been more okay if you did it something in a similar style to like the CGI animated films like, say, Frozen and Tangled and that sort of thing. I still don't think that'd be necessary. I still think, I love the beauty of that original hand-drawn animation, but I think that would have made more sense as a creative choice than trying to go this route. It really feels like they just did it just for the sake of it, and because money. Because this movie is apparently now like the highest grossing animated film of all time. Because of course, because people see The Lion King is like, yeah, sure, we'll go see The Lion King. We loved that as a kid. It doesn't matter. No one's going to be thinking about this movie in the next 5 to 10 years. It's just, sorry, I'm just getting mad. But
what do you think about it in comparison to something like, say, The Jungle Book?
The Jungle Book works a lot better, I think, in a lot of ways. Not only because it's considerably different from the original film, but it is also a mix of live action and CGI as well. Like, there's an actual human person we can emote with. So even if the animal characters aren't being incredibly expressive, there's still that core component that we can latch onto. So that, on top of the fact that it kind of turns the original film from like a bleh kind of meandering story into something that's a little bit more compelling, I thought was actually a pretty good adaptation. Might be worth doing an episode on it at some point as well. But I remember hearing an interview from Jon Favreau, who directed this film, which I ultimately really like most of the stuff that he does. Like, Jon Favreau directed the original Iron Man 2, he did The Jungle Book, as we said, he did Chef as well, which is a delightful film. And he basically, when he went into The Jungle Book, he watched through that film and then noted down everything that he wanted to keep, all of the iconic things that people recognized. And there isn't really a lot, because no one really looks back on The Jungle Book the same way they do The Lion King. But then he went to do that for The Lion King, and the list ended up being like 20 pages long of all the things that, we need to include this, and we need to include that, and we need to do this song, we need to do this reference. Basically to the point that it is almost not necessarily a shot-for-shot recreation, but like a line-to-line recreation. There are very few like new additional changes. Like Nala's given a little bit more to do because she's voiced by Beyonce, which, side note, is a terrible choice because you can only hear Beyonce. She's not a good voice actress. She's basically just there, not only for the name brand and essentially just for the voice. And then there's a couple of additional scenes with Timon and Pumbaa, which are nice, but it's not worth the change and the ridiculous amount of adherence to the original source material. So, yeah, I don't like this film at all.
Okay.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to know about it?
No, I think that basically covers the fact that I just shouldn't watch this movie.
Yep, exactly.
I do want to say, for those who are getting a bit sick of these Disney remakes. Maybe instead spend your money, go out and see something a bit smaller, a bit more independent. I know as an Australian in the Australian market, there's been some fantastic stuff come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Including most recently movies like Top End Wedding and Palm Beach.
Yeah, The Australian Dream just came out as well.
Yes.
Documentary that's been really acclaimed so far.
So I highly recommend, if you're going to the cinema, instead of picking up another one of the Disney blockbusters, if you're you're going to enjoy it, then just maybe go for something a bit riskier and a bit more interesting. Support, independent filmmakers.
I think we should just say that in general, in all honesty. I think, see, that's really the core of these Disney remakes, is that they are safe choices, financial choices. Beauty and the Beast was a huge hit. Aladdin was a huge hit. Cinderella did really well. Like, it's these movies everyone is so familiar with them, and they've just got such a brand recognition behind them, and they continue to make money to the point where Disney is not going to stop. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, we're getting a new Little Mermaid movie, we're getting a new Mulan movie. That one I'm not actually so concerned about, because it's changing radically a lot of stuff from the original film, which I think is a much better choice to go about it. But we're just going to be getting these till the end of time. The Lady and the Tramp trailer came out yesterday at the time of recording as well, so it's just, I just don't like this trend, because I think it's just, in so many ways, just creatively bankrupt. I mean, you can look at other big franchises with multiple sequels and stuff. Like, obviously, we've talked about the MCU plenty, which is another big Disney franchise, but that has legitimately good storytelling and smart writing and adaptation behind it. But this just feels shallow and cheap in ways that really, really bothers me. And I think The Lion King ultimately epitomizes that. So I just... Yeah, and I mean, obviously, a lot of people still enjoy this film for the pure fact that it is just The Lion King. It's like it's so familiar to them, and they can know all the songs and they can sing along, and that's enough. But I don't think we should settle for that, and I think it sets a dangerous precedent when we basically just say, we just want the same things recycled over and over again. So, yeah, this is a dour note to end on. But so The Lion King, we are fairly late getting this out. Obviously, The Lion King's been out for a good while as such. So I assume if you're listening to this, you've almost certainly decided you've already seen it, or you're probably not going to see it. But hey, shouting into the void is what we do best, especially when it comes to Disney live-action remakes.
Fuck you, Void.
Exactly. Someone has to tell that void what's what.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we could, if we wanted to end on a more lighter note, we can tease what our next mini shift is going to be, which is not something I believe we're actually committing to. Would you like to do the honors and let the good listeners know what we're going to be talking about?
The Angry Birds 2 movie.
I can't believe we're going to go see this opening night.
Hell yeah, we are.
This is such a terrible decision. Oh my god. So stick around for that. The Angry Birds 2 has basically just become the stupidest of inside jokes since we did that original film as an episode. And apparently right now, this is the highest, based on Tomato Meter, this is the highest rated video game movie on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not something I ever thought I would see in my lifetime. The Angry Birds 2 movie. Jesus.
This movie is an enigma, and I love it.
Jesus Christ. So stick around for that, because that's going to be like a 2-hour deep dive into how that film was supposedly an allegory for the Cold War or something like that, based on our previous episode. So until then, fare thee well.
Bye.